Hello everyone, I'm Rob Smith of Smith in the Black with a Strat Time report, and well, he did it. So right now, what's happening? All right, so they're going into Ukraine and all that kind of stuff. So what we've been seeing is a lot of profit taking on both sides, and what I mean by that is that a lot of guys were positioned for this to happen, right? And so that's when you get the energy popping up, but then selling off, taking profits. You got the guys who are short tech covering and having that come back. So one of the problems we're having is we got a lot of outside days now, right? So when I say every 60 is like a new day to us, now you have an inside 60 in the SPY, right? So we want to see which side of this thing gets taken out, right? Because a lot of these things are in conflict, and what I mean by that is you gap down, but you're two up. Now you're going to be able to go three on that. That'd be quite the tall order, right? So you got your exhaustion risk by going into new recent lows, but now you got your 60s here. So there's going to be a lot more going on. Like I said, every hour is going to be a new day, right? But right out the chute, one of the things you want to look for when you have a gap down like this, big gap down, anybody taking out yesterday's highs, right? So let's take a look at QQQ. Q's comes rallying back to yesterday's lows, also inside on the 60. Right, these 60 is going to be key on what's going to happen next. Right, if we go to the Dow Jones Diamonds here, too weak. So the diamonds industrial showing us weakness. You can see all those other bright green candles, not so much here, right? Okay, so that's important to understand when you're trying to gauge who's strong and who's weak. If you go to small cappers, a little better too. So you can see all these inside 60s. All this is going to matter going forward on who breaks what. Okay, so we'll see because you're bright green on the day, but now you got an inside 60. It's a whole new day, right? When the volatility spikes, you're going to have to watch these 60s like a hawk on which way we're going to be going here. So when I said if you're looking for something that was going up and the market's going down, simple market psychology, right? If you were short something, you got what you wanted. Market tanking, right? But if your thing's going up, you're screwed, and you got to do something to cover. So earlier on in Moderna was going up, right, when the market was tanking. So what do we wait for? Triangle the out, 15er. Two up, two down, two down, two up, right there, boom. And there you go, and that was 147.38. This thing shot up to over 154, right? That's a nice little trade. So one of the problems, like I said, is a lot of this stuff is just beating down stuff, short covering. So you can see net already an outside day, right? So it's already did its job, what it's supposed to do, right? Be an outside day. Once you come back in, once you're a two down but green and start coming back through here, we're looking to become an outside day. Now we don't know. Now we're going to watch all these 60s because still an inside month handily here, right? So it'll be interesting to see how things set up tomorrow for the new week. Can these gains hold? Because once you're a broadening formation, a three, you're always a three. That can't change. So if they were willing to sell up and pay down, they might do it again. So far, so good on the day, but we'll have to see going forward. Right now, these 60s need to break. If you go to Overstock, and you'll see this, still potential an outside day. Hasn't hit that magnitude yet, right? So that's important because it did go outside on the week, right? So we want to see if that's strong enough to take this out because there's so many outside bars if the market firms up. If we go to now, you can see once again, inside 60s the flavor. A lot of things going to be looking like the futures. When I have that volatility and they all go inside, it's something we want to know about because we can gauge all these 60s against each other and say, okay, which way are they all breaking? Do we have a simultaneous break there? But now did its job, outside day. Now we don't know. It's still an inside month handily. If we go to GNRC, also handily outside day, did its job. And you can see this chop shop in here, and all that is going back and forth. Stop out the shorts up here, stop out the longs down here, and right back in the middle of this broadening formation, which gives you doji on the month. Don't know, just still bright green on the day. If you go to OLED, and OLED here, once again, big outside day, outside week already. Just looking at how it's going to set up for the new month, potentially the 322, but we got some time on that month. But it did its job by being an outside day, and that's what you look for. And if you talk to Sarah, you get them 50% rule, and boom, you're in. Thank you. Solars also having a big rally back. Sag, outside day, setting up potential rev strat week here. Still inside month though. Back and forth we go. If we go to run, also trying to come back here. Okay, keeping an eye on these 60s here like a hawk, man. And run also gives you the outside day. Got some distance for an outside weaker though, so we'll see. So far, trying to hold up there. Keep watching that SPY. What you going to do there, 60? CCJ, big outside day there, and now outside week. But these two are still inside of this, which gives you the inside month. Now inside on the 60, once again, we're watching a bunch of these inside 60s to see who breaks which way. If you go to IRTC, also, boom, outside day, still inside month. Now trying to take that 60 to the upside directional. 2, 1, 2 to the upside. Trying to stay strong is IRTC. One of the things we did see, and just like I said with Moderna, that when you have a big gap down, you want to look for anything that's going up. Who's screwed? Guys who are screwed this morning, and SPY does this. Rallies back, right? And if you go to 15, you'll see this. Here it comes, right? And there's your 2, 2, 2 right there. But XLP, puke, right? And so these guys are trapped because they got what they wanted. The market rallied back, right? And these guys just kept tanking, right? So that's where you wanted to be. XLP on the short side. And that also takes this. 2 up, 2 down on the month, right? So if you go to Pepsi, and Pepsi, puke, straight puking, right? And that's what you want to see. Also, 2 up, 2 down on the month now, right? And still going into the lows, and that tells you to maybe take a look at Coke to a lesser extent, trying to come back down. What's them 60s? Here, potential 60, potential outside month if they keep hitting these things. If you go to Colgate, ow, straight down. Now potential inside 60, and once again, that 2 up, 2 down month, right? So there's a simultaneous break on a monthly basis to the downside in XLP names. That's something you'd want to know about, right? Right out the chute. See if you can get anything in there. Here, if you go to the 30, you see this. Triangle layout. 2 down, 2 up. Boom, you're in. Short side, thanks for playing. If we go to Mondelez. Mondelez taking it inside 30 to the downside right now. Once again, 2 up, 2 down on the month, right? And a 2-2 reversal on the day. That was a 2 up yesterday, but boom, down she goes. If you go to Kimberly-Clark, 3-2 down on the month. Here, just kind of skirting the lows here, but we'll see how these things set up because we want to keep watching how they rotate in and out of all this kind of stuff. You get a peanut butter jelly time, SJM. 2 up, 2 down reversal on the month. Right now, SPY trying to perk up a little bit, still watching those 60s, but you can see the trouble these guys are all in. The 2 up, 2 down on the month. You also had XLU coming down as well. That's an inside month to the downside, right? Not totally getting killed here, but certainly not rallying back with market. Dominion staying down, letter D, all that kind of stuff. And of course, there's always Russian stocks themselves, the Yandex, just kind of sitting there, but been nice puking here. But now, if you're short, you still don't have to cover as yet, right? Because not rallying back. And if you go to RSX, still just kind of sitting there. So we'll see how those guys pan out. If we go to XLE, you'd think, right, that everything here would just keep blasting off. It's not what happened. So if you were prepared for this and you're waiting for this, right, and things don't go, you start to take profits, and that's what happened here. So not the end of the world, but you can see this 2-day inside pattern, right, inside of this. These 2 days are inside of that. Staying a little weak, but not totally getting killed, but not rallying either. So that tells you to go looking at Exxon and all of them looking very similar. The 313s, Chevron, APA was acting better here, but now comes back in, potentially setting up the Rev Strat day for tomorrow. We'll see how that goes. We also had SMH here rally back, and then you look for one of these things is not like the other. Analog devices staying down. Inside 60 now, but we'll see how that goes as they're trying to rally them back right now, getting closer to those 60s to the upside. If you go to FAS, not participating in the rally back, went inside and down on the 60. However, these 3 hours are still in the opening range, right? But you notice that when you have a shock to the system like this gap, we're going to continually be watching the strength and weakness of these sectors, whether the market goes up or down. XLP trying to go to the lows as I speak. If we go to Union Pacific and the trannies, staying down so far, and we'll see how that goes. If you go to the 30, you'll notice this. When the market was rallying back, inside on the 30, slight poke up, rev strat to the downside. 1, 2, 2, and down she goes. Norfolk Southern to a little bit lesser extent, but still staying down, and that's what you want to see. Johnson & Johnson. And Johnson & Johnson skirting the lows in this, right? And here's what we've been looking for on the weekly for a while. Outside week, the 322, and then these become an outside bar of all that. Does its job, right? An inside day to the downside, still struggling here. Market's still trying to firm up, trying to figure out what it wants to do. With those financials, you also have Zion Bancorp hanging near the lows on this, having some problems. You had JP Morgan staying down on the gap here as well. So the financials certainly not participating as yet. If you go in there, you're going to see the insurers having problems. Allstate, HIG here staying down. Progressive. All right, so all these guys still having some problems. And in the industrials, with the diamonds being weaker so far, albeit here, not totally dying and green on the day, should we start to roll back down, you got stuff like IBM staying down, not rallying back with the market. Honeywell, how you doing? Honeywell doing a little better. You got Triple M still having problems, albeit trying to rally back on that 60 now. If we go to Walmart, and Walmart, you can see that one inside down off the 60 with the market rallying back, right? And you can see this here, the slight higher high, the 2-2 reversal day, and then these three become an outside bar of all that. You see? It's also taking out last month's lows. That's something I want to know about. How about Eastman Chemical? And Eastman Chemical also staying down, one inside and down on the 60 as the market rallied back. It's a 2-2 reversal on the week, 2 up, 2 down, and getting close to taking this month here below 114.83 is a 2-2 reversal on the month. So we'll see if that takes hold or not. If we go to HLF, once again, now trying to firm up a little bit, but you can see that was continued to go lower when the market went higher. That's a rev strat week here. 1, 2, boom, down she goes, right? And on the month, I think it just misses here. Yeah, but you got the 2-2 reversal month, 2 up, 2 down. Now just kind of stuck in here with market. We'll see how that goes. If we go to BIIB, BIIB stays down off an inside day to the downside. Amgen was staying weak as well. And Amgen outside monther, but now trying to firm up here on the 60. So, like I said, we're going to be playing this hour by hour to see do they continue to rotate out of XLP? Do they, what do they do with the tech? Do they keep doing the short cover like Facebook? We know that that's been down for a while. MetaBuddy, is that it? Maybe still rallying back. We'll see. Right. All that does though is doji on the week. All right. So you're not making any major progress just yet. But a lot of these things have been beat up, like your PayPals. And so the question is this just a little bit of short covering before more selling? So it should be making for an interesting Friday. Certainly going to make for an interesting rest of the day, right? To see how these 60s play out. And then how do we close out? Do we close out closer to the highs of the day? Middle of the range? Lows, because we're constantly, just like I showed you, on a gap down looking for guys taking out yesterday's highs or taking out the morning lows. That kind of back and forth action is what we're going to be keeping an eye on. So this inside 60, that's a new day right here. If this starts taking off to the upside, who's continuing? And if it starts taking to the downside, who's continuing to the downside? That's the way we're going to play this, all right? All right, so that's going to do it for today. I'm Rob Smith, Smith & Black. Strat Time Report.